Hello, it's Mr. Van Dong here again on day 3 of our distance learning, and we are working on the Chapter 10 review, which means tomorrow there's a test. Now, normally, what we do on a day like this, we do the review in the book, but we also talk specifically about what types of questions you're going to see on tomorrow's test. Now, maybe you already flipped ahead and saw the test is literally in your packet. Okay, please don't go look at it ahead of time. You can look at it tomorrow. I'm going to literally read you the questions now, just like normal. But this is, I guess, in some ways, it's sort of like a little bit of a test of how honorable and morally upright you are, 5th graders. So please don't look ahead to the test. Please, when you get to the test tomorrow, don't have your parents help you. Please don't work together on it. All of the same things normally apply. If you need somebody to read you the problems aloud, that's okay, and I'm literally going to read the problems aloud right now, all of the instructions, so you can just watch this video again, for example, the beginning of this video again. But don't use your math book, don't use online help, don't use any of that stuff. That's not you. We need to know what you can do, and it's okay if you don't know how to do something yet. You know, we teach it just like always. But please don't be using outside resources to do that, and please don't look at the actual test problems until tomorrow. I know some of you right now are like, I can look right now, Mr. Van. That's the hardest thing you've ever asked me to do. You'll be okay. Okay. All right. So speaking of the math test, it looks like this. Woo! So this is actually the longest math test that we've given you. It's actually 3 whole pages. So it's long in the actual pages, but it shouldn't take you more than 45 minutes tomorrow if you know how to do the problems. It should take you 30 minutes, hopefully. But we'll see. You know, whatever it takes you, that's fine. It's not a race. So the first section says, I can estimate the products of fractions. And then the directions are estimate, showing your work. And there's 3 problems. So you're going to estimate 3 multiplication problems. Remember for that section, by the way, because I'm not going to review this on the board and they do it a little bit differently, you don't round numbers. You look for compatible numbers, or you change numbers to the nearest half. You do whatever you can do to get reasonable estimates. And strictly speaking, if you just round numbers, especially with fractions, you don't get good answers. So you're looking for compatible numbers to make friendly bar diagrams. You're looking for maybe just changing one number instead of both, because if it changed one number is really close to 1, then just multiply the other number by 1. Or you try to change them with multiplication both in the opposite direction, so that they are, so it's reasonable. You know. The next section says, I can find the products of fractions using models. And I'm going to review that on the board here after I go through the test, because that's been many weeks for all of us. So we're going to do all the 3 different types of problems of models. There's 3 problems that just says solve using models showing your work. I'm sorry, there's 4 problems. Then after that, it says, I can find the products of fractions, and then you can just multiply them with or without a model. If you like to use the models, keep using them. There are some problems that will not be as friendly with models. You just need to figure out how to get the right answer. And so multiplying numerators and denominators together to get a final answer is fine. You don't have to simplify. There are mixed numbers in this section, so make sure that you know how to take a mixed number to an improper fraction, which we strongly recommend you do by just drawing it. You can draw the mixed number, figure out what the improper fraction is from there. So, next section, I can find quotients in problems that use unit fractions. This is what we've been working on the last 3 days. It says solve using models, showing your work. And there are 2 problems where you will need to draw pictures of division with fractions, which is the bulk of what we've been working on recently, so hopefully that's fresh in your mind. 2 more sections. I can explain what happens when a whole number is multiplied by a fraction. And this is the lesson that we told you. It comes up all the time on the SBA, and now we don't really, the SBA is not coming around again, so yay, but it's still a useful thing to know. It's still on the test because it's important information. What happens if you multiply a number by something that's less than 1, that is 1, or by more than 1? What happens to the other number? That's what that section's about. And then last, related to yesterday's lesson, I can solve word problems involving the multiplication and division of fractions. And there are 2 problems in there, and just like yesterday, you're going to want to just draw a picture to solve it. Sometimes it can be difficult to figure out, am I multiplying, am I dividing? Just draw a picture, and you won't hopefully have to really worry about it as long as you can make it real with a picture. Okay, so that's tomorrow's test. For your 45 minutes of work today, or 45 minutes minus this video, give or take, we're working on the review, which is starts on page 783. Skip the vocab or come back and do it last if you have extra time. It's just not as important as these two pages. Just like always, we always say these two pages are the most two important pages. Kind of the guts of the chapter are right here. You got some word problems and you've got some just like solve it sort of situation problems. They don't say, hey, solve these with models, so maybe solve some of them with models and solve the other ones with not models. It's up to you. Remember that both are on the test tomorrow, so it's up to you for which ones you do like that in there. But always draw your own models too. Don't use any models that they try to give you. Okay, let's review how to do models with the multiplication of fractions. If I see multiplication of fractions with a whole number, my first thought is, oh, I hope that I can make a bar diagram. I hope that that whole number is divisible by the denominator of the fraction, because then I can make a wonderful bar diagram, which is a beautiful thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I have 10 holes right here and I cut them into fifths, there'll be 2 holes in every fifth. Okay? Yay! Look, it worked. So here's 2 fifths is equal to 2 4 total. So the answer here would be 4, and that is the model that proves that the answer is that. Over here for 3/4 times 3, I get excited and go, I'm going to draw a bar diagram. Oh wait, I'm not, because I can't break 3 holes up into fourths. That's not a thing. Okay, well, that's okay, because I can use repeated addition. Any multiplication problem is just groups of. This is 3 groups of 3/4. So I'll just draw 3 groups of 3/4. That's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I'm going to need 3 of these Batman Magentas. All right, hey, that's a group of 3/4, and that's a group of 3/4, and that's a group of 3/4. And there are several ways to get a correct answer at this point. You could literally just count how many fourths there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9/4. That's an acceptable final answer, is 9/4. Done. If you wanted a mixed number, then you would start showing me how they combine. Okay, so I would say, okay, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it right there. It's not there anymore. Okay, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to put it right there. Okay, it's not there anymore. So now what's actually there is how many holes? There are 2 holes, and then what part of an additional hole? This one's still there, so there's still 1/4. So either 9/4 or 2 1/4 are acceptable final answers for 3/4 times 3. We're using repeated addition to solve that if we're asked to use a model. All right, down here when we're actually doing fractions times of fractions, we go back to our ice cream cake. I always like to think of the second number as what I find in my refrigerator or my freezer, but it doesn't matter. You can do it either way because you can flip them because of the commutative property. So I find 2/5 of an ice cream cake in a freezer, and I always cut it vertically. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is the glorious, delicious leftover ice cream cake. 2/5 of a whole ice cream cake. For some ridiculous reason, I only eat 1/4 of it. I mean, in real life, I'm going to eat all that. But anyway, we're pretending that I would only eat 1/4 of what's left there. So I need to cut what's there into fourths. So I'm going to make 3 horizontal cuts so that I've cut what's left over into fourths. Now remember, I ate an entire 1/4 of what is there. I ate that 1/4 of what is there. So what part of a whole ice cream cake did I eat if I ate 1/4 of 2/5? Well, it looks like I ate 2 slices. So I ate 2 slices. And how many slices were there? Well, it's a 5 by 4, so I can multiply those to get the answer. I can count them one at a time. If I'm going to do 5 by 4 is 20. So the answer is 220. Mr. Van Gogh, that's still simplest form you could. I know. It's fine. If you want to simplify it, go for it, but you don't have to. Simplification is not necessary. It's not what we're testing you on, right? If I want to test you on simplification, I'll test you on simplification. I need to know, can you draw models of multiplication of fractions? So that's what we're working on today, a review of the whole chapter. Again, you're working on the page 784 and 785 are your focus pages, but also do 786 and 783 if you have time. Draw models on several problems, do it without models on others. Tomorrow's test, please don't look at it in advance. And yeah, and that's what I have to say about that. So we'll see you later.